Today on Marketing Gems, all the marketing secret from the big giant Coca Cola coming up.
Face. Perfect.
Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing today? How you doing today, Labo?
I'm doing excellent. How about you?
Doing awesome. Thank you. So, like I was saying, today we're talking about the big giant company Coca
hmm
Cola, and we'll be showing you guys all of the marketing secrets. So, I'm excited about it.
We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to show a video and we're going to react to it and give you some pointers based on some of the great uh, observations this YouTuber made. And we're just going to go into a discussion and show you how you can take the concepts and principles that Coke has for your small business.
Yes, yes. So just like Lebo was saying, we'll be showing you guys a video and making our reaction about it. So are we ready? We ready for the
Ready?
video?
We're ready.
Okay, let's go.
Mhm.
I'm gonna hide it to the
And welcome to
stream.
Thought Catalyst. I'm Charles Painter, and today we're going to be talking about the marketing campaigns of the Coca Cola Company. Coca Cola was first invented within an Atlanta based pharmacy by Dr. John Pemberton in May 1886. Initially sold at local soda fountain counters, growing demand and the idea of making the beverage portable led to bottling the sparkling drink. In its first year, Pemberton sold just 9 glasses of Coca Cola a day for 5 cents a glass. Since then, the company has expanded ever so slightly, currently selling its products at an estimated rate of more than 1.9 billion servings a day. That's the equivalent, every day, to almost 1 in 4 people buying something from Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola Company is one of the most recognised companies in the world, and it's certainly the world's biggest drink company. They control more than half the global market in carbonated soft drinks, as well as a substantial chunk of the somewhat larger non-carbonated segment. It owns 4 of the world's 5 biggest selling soft drinks, with Coca-Cola being the world's best known and most valuable non-technology brand. Within its portfolio, the company holds more than 500 brands including Fanta, Sprite and Relentless. Within these, they produce over 3,500 varied products, spanning from sodas to bottled water to iced teas and coffees.
Pause it,
Despite an
Mohammed.
estimated 94% of the world's population recognizing
for
the
a
red
second.
and white Coca-Cola logo, nearly 10% of
I don't know why I don't know if on their end they can see that it's lagging a little bit, the video. But I just wanted to say on that end, on that part, when he's talking about how Coke owns all of these different brands, there's so many brands you wouldn't even know that Coke owns. And that's part of the reason why they have so much revenue. So you're thinking that all of this money is coming from just Coke sales? No. It's because Coke is now a firm. They acquire other products and other brands that are very good. They buy them out and then they also use that money. So all of those companies, Dr. Pepper, all of those companies are Coke. They're all Coke. So when you're talking about Coca-Cola, you're thinking of just the drink, the one drink Coca-Cola, but really it's the brand, the company Coca-Cola owns all of those. And that's why they have such massive revenue and such massive marketing spend because it's not just one drink, it's many different ones. A lot of things you don't like, you wouldn't even associate, like sports drinks, chocolate drinks, juices, they're all owned by Coke. So you think that they're a competitor. Really, they're not a competitor. They are the same company, in fact. Coke is a mogul. Let's put it that way. All right, let's continue. And I hope that the video catches up. I don't know why the video is doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with that. And let's try the video again.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back on it. You
How does it look on your end,
Their
Mohammed?
revenue, $41 billion.
say what?
How is it looking? Is it looking like it's on time on your end, or does it look like it's lagging on your end?
It looks the same on my hand too.
Oh, okay, okay,
But
got you.
it's funny. Let me try.
Valuable non-technology brand. Within its portfolio, the company holds more than 500 brands, including Fanta, Sprite, and Relentless. Within these, they produce over 3,500 varied products, spanning from sodas to bottled water to iced teas and coffees. Despite an estimated 94% of the world's population recognizing the red and white Coca Cola logo, nearly 10% of their revenue, $41 billion, was spent on advertising and marketing campaigns last year. This astronomical $4 billion was spent on a diverse range of campaign tactics across multiple geographic regions. As with many things in the world, ironically, the companies that are the most well recognized possessed the highest budget for their advertising and public image. Luckily, this hefty budget allows Coke to experiment and get creative with their marketing, providing the opportunity to remind us why they're as successful as they are. Now, what is the Coca-Cola brand built upon? Well, it's this secret: training our brains to associate the brand with a good feeling, be that happiness, relaxation, friends, love, anything, rather than the soda itself that makes them good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to go through a few examples here. First of all, let's have a look at the 2015 Christmas advert. For many, the arrival of the iconic "Holidays Are Coming" Coca-Cola truck, it's a highlight of the period, building excitement for Christmas. The ad might be 21 years old, but interest in it shows little sign of diminishing as it brings out everyone's nostalgic side. The focus of last year's A Coke for Christmas ad follows a young boy who aims to spread the joy through giving Coca-Cola to those who are making Christmas a reality, including a dad, a shop assistant, and Santa Claus himself. Now, the important aspects of the advert is that it targets the whole family. The ability to provide the experience for the entire family is essential. The commercial itself closely follows Coke's primary principles in their advertising. Rather than attempting to sell a drink, Coke focuses on selling an abstract positive concept, such as happiness, family, and sharing. As we can see, Coke have become experts at selling these non-concrete conceptions. This year's video, like many before it, remains true to their core values that they use in their marketing campaigns year-round. Along with this, Coke modified their traditional formula for advertising, adopting a more multi-channel approach. Traditionally, video, print, and physical advertising were the focal point of Coke's festive commercials. However, this year saw the addition of Coke TV and social media via hashtags and a Coke emoji. This was an attempt to broaden their influential radius. Now, the next example we're going to look at is called Share a Can. Now, Coke's Share Happiness campaign has been one of the key pillars of their advertising machine. This involved multiple previous strategies such as the Coke Hug Me machine and the hugely successful debranding tactic, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. However, the Coca-Cola sharing can may have successfully created the most literal rendition of sharing a Coke. The regular-looking can of Coke can be twisted to become two mini cans, allowing probably one of the easiest methods for sharing a Coke on the move. As part of the pilot project, Coke distributed its sharing can to thirsty Singaporeans and documented their surprised reactions. The documentary of this surprised happiness involved a team accompanying the distributors, following them to areas where they knew there would be heavy traffic, and filmed people's authentic reactions. This documentation provided Coke with video evidence of the purest possible form of happiness, showing how people would react and the kind of power it has. Now, finally, we got on to debranding. As mentioned earlier, arguably the most successful Share Happiness campaign would be the debranding tactic. Marketing director Lucy Austin and her team within Coca-Cola's South Pacific branch were delivered a 151-word creative brief that gave them free rein to deliver a truly disruptive idea that would make headlines and capture the country's attention. The resulting campaign, known internally as Project Connect, based on its ambition to both strengthen the brand's bond with Australia's young adults and inspire shared moments of happiness with the real and virtual worlds, it became known as Share a Coke. The primary concept behind this was the
That
swapping
was
out of Coke
genius.
branding on
That
bottles and
shared
cans
Coke
in
thing.
favour of 150 of the most popular names in Australia, allowing Coke to reach 42% of the population. This campaign was released and almost immediately saw a positive reaction, with unaffiliated celebrities buying bottles and social media conversation and media coverage blowing up as a result. Within that summer, Coke sold more than 250 million named bottles and cans in a nation of just under 23 million people. This overwhelming positive result led to the expansion of the campaign across the world, reaching more than 70 countries. As the campaign spread across the globe, over 17,000 names were used, including generic nicknames and titles such as Mom and Dad and Mate. These additional titles purposefully made the invitation more about giving a Coke to someone else rather than keeping it to yourself, and broadened the appeal and played to their core principles. The ability of such a revolutionary and notable campaign could be argued to rely solely on the ability to relate to the customer on the eye level. Lucy Austin suggests that the success derives from the use of our name, the most personal thing we possess. It's our fingerprint, our identity, in one word. It can't get much more personal than seeing our name, our own unique identifier, on a bottle of Coke. Their campaign capitalized on the global trend of self-expression and sharing, but it did so in an emotional way. Coke's advertising team have released its fair share of interesting campaigns, some with more success than others, but few could be called an outright disaster, with the possible exception of New Coke. The continued pursuit of alluring and revolutionary advertising tactics by Coke is sure to assist the sales of their products worldwide, and will not be likely to go anywhere anytime soon. As you can see, Coca Cola have shown that by engaging with their customers and not just shouting from the rooftops about how great they are, they're able to grow year on year and build a brand loyalty and a brand awareness that you just don't see in many other sectors. And it's a lesson that a lot of companies can do with learning. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more
Let's
of
go
what we
ahead
do,
and stop it
please
there,
remember to
Mohammed,
like,
and
share, and
start getting
subscribe,
into some
and
of
we'll
these
catch you again
great
next time.
principles.
Goodbye.
Really nice video, and I'm really excited to talk on some of these points. I saw like my daughter, she's so analytical. She always talks about how Coke is trying to make you think that having a Coke is going to make your life better and make your life so much fun. But it's worked. And so we're going to dive into that. Mohammed's going to come back in a second. But let's talk about number one. The number one um, thing that Coke has capitalized on is brand recognition. One of the most recognizable brands that you'll find out there. And in order to make your brand recognizable, it has to be unique, it has to be consistent, and it has to be say exactly who you are or represent who you are in such a way that it's easy to understand, but it's something you'll be comfortable with long term, right? If you look at brands like Coke, McDonald's, some of the most recognizable brands out there, how much has their logo changed over the years? Not very much at all. And so I think a lot of companies mess themselves up, and I've made that mistake as well, is by rebranding, rebranding, rebranding. And so one of the first things to do is make sure your brand is clear, easy to understand, and that you stay consistent with it, right? A lot of times, entrepreneurs start off by just coming up with a logo that they can come up with because they can't afford a graphic designer or something of that nature. But making sure that that branding stays consistent is very important. The second thing is acquisition, right? So you're not a major corporation like Coca Cola. They go around acquiring many other brands and then leveraging those and bringing in more revenue, right? But you can, as a small business owner or entrepreneur, partner with similar companies that are doing something in a different way, or serving in a different way, or having a different type of solution, but has your same target demographic. For instance, Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is a different taste. Um, certainly the customers are a little bit different from the typical Coke customer. Like Texans, for instance, love Dr. Pepper over Coke. So they jumped on that and they acquired Dr. Pepper. And so what you can do is partner with other companies that are at your level or a little bit lower than your level, and grow with them, and see how you can help each other, right? And how you can leverage each other's services. Marketing agencies do this a lot behind the scenes. And so we white label each other's services so that we can grow our own revenue. And this is something that you can find a way to do with your own company. Mohammed, you're back. He's coming back. He's coming back. He's on here, but he's coming back to the screen soon. The third thing is, Coke makes made $41 billion in revenue, and they spent $4 billion on uh, marketing. So one thing about it is that, yeah, Coke has a big marketing budget, but they have set aside a certain percentage that they're going to always dedicate to marketing, and that is 10%. So don't be afraid to spend on marketing. A lot of times when you're afraid to spend on marketing, you end up trying to do a lot of things yourself, and it becomes subpar or mediocre, or not as well as you would like it to be done. And then on top of that, it takes so much time for you to even turn out that result that you're not even happy with, because you're afraid. And I've been there. It's this the craziest thing. I'm glad you're back, Mohammed. The craziest thing about me, Mohammed, I was telling them about the marketing budget of Coke. The craziest
Mm-hmm.
thing about me, Mohammed, is that I'm a marketer now, but back in the day, I would not spend anything on marketing. I was very cheap for sure. And I wanted to try to do everything myself. That's how I learned about marketing and changed and pivoted my career, because I learned so much stuff about marketing being cheap, right?
Right.
It's sad kind of. But I was telling them Coke spends 10% on marketing. So I would suggest that 10% of your budget going on marketing, whatever that is. And then marketing, that could be marketing to your own customers, not just going to new customers, but to your own customers, right? So that's an easy number that people can feel okay with, 10%, I believe. Okay, number four. The next thing he said, he was talking about how Coke experiments. They experiment with their marketing. And that is so true. Marketing is a test, it is just a lab of experimentation going on. And you are just testing this, testing that, seeing how this and that works. So don't be afraid to experiment with your marketing. Like he said in the video, yes, Coke has made some marketing mistakes, but not many that you can remember, right? And think about this. He mentioned New Coke was a marketing mistake, right? They tried to fix something that wasn't broken, and they brought in New Coke, and everybody thought it was nasty. Well, guess what? They actually did a behind the scenes undercover taste test, and people did like New Coke. But because it was marketed as new, people didn't like it, and that people were saying, "Oh, I don't like this idea," and it was kind of like a general consensus that no one liked New Coke, so people didn't try it. So
Right.
that's why the sales failed. It was because other people were like, "Oh, don't try that. It's not the same. They're trying to fix something." And it was, it caused a big stir. But experiment with your marketing. I was telling people last week, get on TikTok, start showcasing your characters and all those things. Let people fall in love with your personality, then they'll fall in love with your brand sometimes. Instead of just talking about, well, this is my service, it's the best service, we do this the best, and no one is like us. Rather than screaming that from the rooftops, let people know who you are, what your brand is all about, doing like Coke, associating your brand with emotions and concepts. And then they'll turn around and want to support you because they have fallen in love with what you're all about. So that's another thing. So anyway, experiment with your marketing. Number 5 is train your customers to create to associate you with something. Now think about this. Every time you see a Coke commercial, is something fun going on. And not only do they do that, but they put Coke in fun places. For instance, where do people go to have fun? The movie theater. They go to lots of different types of places where people go to have fun and have memories. Every place like that, you will find Coke. Period, point blank. Once I did a promotion with Coke, and we might have time to talk about it later. But we were at Six Flags, and it was a six. It was I don't think it was a Six Flags tour. I think it was just a tour, and one of the places on the tour was Six Flags, and we were there for like a week promoting Coke, just all the different types of Coke flavors, right, and brands. And so they put us in the middle of where people were having fun because Coke wants to be associated with fun and happiness, right? Now, I just want to dive into this just a little bit. What do you want people to associate your brand with? It has to
Mm,
be something happy or they're going to avoid it. If it's
mm,
something like life insurance and funeral arrangements, if you have some type of service around something that's negative and things that people dread, that's not a brand that's going to blow up. I'm sorry to tell you, okay? Unless you make it fun or funny, okay? And I've seen funeral homes try to do that. But you have to make your brand associated with something positive, right? Something that makes them feel good. So meditate on that and make your brand be, say, and do all of anything that has to do with that feeling and emotions. Mohammed, you had something on that?
yeah, I totally agree, and it actually segue into the next step. I mean, the next tip that you were going to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
which is
That's
associate your brand with feelings and concepts, because that's
mm-hmm.
exactly what she's saying. It's kind of like relationships. A lot of times, you may like somebody because of the way that person makes you feel,
Mm-hmm.
or the way you feel when you are next to that person, or the
Yeah.
way you feel where you are inside that particular type of people, group of people, right? So,
Mhm.
what is the energy? What is the perception that
Yes.
you want people to feel and be about you? That's why, just like Labo was saying, it's so important to associate your brand, because you were talking about a funeral. It's so funny. How can you turn these negative, I mean, not necessarily negative, but kind of on the negative side, into some positive
Positive.
feelings that people will want to be around? So that's very, very important.
It's all about perception, and you can drive the perception. You can create the perception of your business, right?
Mhm.
It's not just about let me have the best product. How can we study everybody to make sure that we have something better? There are companies out there that are huge. Does McDonald's have the best burger? No, they don't. But it's about the perception. You have to find discover within yourself the perception you want people to have about your business and then create it. That's what you put yourself out as, okay? You manufacture that. Okay. And the best is not a perception. The best hairstylist, that's not a perception. Elite luxury hairstylist, that is a perception. So
Mm,
start thinking about it in that way. How do you want to be looked at? You have to make sure you are putting yourself out as that. Okay. Number 7 is multi-channel marketing. So he said in the video that Coke started to expand the different types of ways they will market. They in the beginning they will market only in certain kinds of ways, like billboards and print ads and stuff like that. Now they use multi-channel, and multi-channel just means that you use multiple platforms to market your business, right?
Mhm.
When people think about marketing, a lot of times they are really thinking about PR. They're thinking about being in a newspaper, being in a magazine, being in on TV. That's PR.
Mhm.
That's not digital marketing. So digital marketing is other things: SEO, SEM, um, social media, and video, and all those different types of things. So expand your horizon. Stop thinking in a box and saying, "Oh, I need to have a press release." Oh my gosh, how many times have I met people? How many times have I met people who'll say, "Oh, well, I have a press release, so marketing
Mm,
done." I guess
right, right, right,
that's what
right,
they act
right,
like.
right.
Like a press release is the end all be all, and I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, and
Yeah.
so you got to
It's
open
like
up your mind.
it's like the people that will tell you that, oh, I just got viral, or I'm about to go viral. Okay, but what's next? You just
Yeah,
got viral, but how do we make the money now?
exactly, absolutely. So that's a good one. Number 8 is documentation. So he said that Coke did a documentary, which was so good. They did a documentary
That was
of
really good.
sharing the Coke and getting people's reaction, right? So they collected that and they put that out there. Look at all these people having fun and feeling fulfilled and all this stuff with Coke. So how can you do that? Collect and distribute your customers' reactions to your brands. Do you have testimonials? Do you have video testimonials? Do you have any customers who will do a video or take pictures with your brand and show like them experiencing your service or um your service or your product, right? You know, there's this one brand, okay, they have this service of creating a portrait of one of your dead relatives, and they put you in it in the portrait. And their video marketing this is people, their customers videoing themselves showing that picture to the relative, and them opening it, and them having the tears, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this, and that feeling, and showing how people will react to something like that type of gift. And they are doing what Coke is doing. They are showing, they are collecting their customers' reactions and putting it out there as more marketing.
Hmm.
I think it's genius to have something like that, to have a service that provokes emotion like that picture service I'm talking about, and then knowing, let's capture that. Let's see what's their reaction. People are going to want to share that anyway.
Hmm.
Give them something to share. Give your customers an experience to share that they're going to want to record and then put on the internet, and that's free advertising, right? Okay, we are running out on time. Let's go to the last one, number 9. Engage with your customers. Help customers to see themselves in your brand. Avoid talking about yourself. Oh, we are the best, blah, blah, blah. We are number one, blah, blah, blah. No. What did Coke did? They put people's names on the Coke and said, oh, now you can get a Coke with your name on. So now everybody's going to look for a Coke with their name on it, and they want to buy extra Cokes because they want to get one for their friend. Oh, I saw this Coke. It had your name on it. I had to grab it.
I'm guilty of that. I was
Genius.
always looking for the Coke bottle with Muhammad every single time.
Yes. And I mean, whoever came up with that, genius, right? So, how can customers engage with your brand, right? How can they engage with your brand? Okay, so think on that. Meditate on ways that you could get people involved with doing things with your company and hashtagging and uploading videos and pictures and all of those things. Mohammed, did you have anything you want to close out with?
I think the like if you really didn't get anything from this video, the biggest part I believe it's the documentation part. When I saw that in the video, I was like, oh my god, that was so brilliant.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's sharing these stories that make your brain relatable. which kind
Mhm.
of put the last 2 points together. Because when you collect all of these reactions, all of these testimonies, all of these stories, and then you start sharing, how do people will see themselves into that? They will
Yeah.
see themselves into that, whatever it's going on, and then they will share your content and engage with your brand.
Think
So
think about
that's,
this.
yeah.
Red Cross, Habitat for Humanity, right? Think about Habitat for Humanity as an example. Everybody who works with Habitat of Humanity, they have the shirt. They're proud to wear the shirt. They want to post that, look what I'm doing. I'm out here helping with Habitat for Humanity. I'm doing something great in society. Think along those lines. What is a call to action? What is something your customers can do that makes them feel good, that you can associate with your brand, that they would share and they would hashtag or at you in? Give them something good to do that would make them like boost their confidence, bring them joy or whatever, right? And that's the main thing to get that engagement up. Okay,
Mhm.
so next time, I didn't tell Muhammad about this because we were brainstorming trying to figure out which one we were talking about next. We could talk about Pepsi next. One I want to talk about is Nickelodeon.
Mm,
Nickelodeon was one of my favorite brands, and they were marketing geniuses in the 90s. And so many of the things that they did, anybody can do. And
mhm.
I really think we should talk about that one. But Mohammed, you have an idea or something you were gonna say?
Oh, I mean, I like, I like geeking out about this stuff. So really, I think Nickelodeon, just like you said, it's a good one. It's a great one. It's kind of like Kodak. All of these companies that were pretty big in the
Yeah.
90s that did all of these crazy big things. I mean, Nickelodeon, I think is still kind of going on, but
Hmm.
Kodak faded a little bit. BlackBerry faded a little bit. Blockbusters, we don't really know. So I think this series is going to be really, really fun to talk
Hmm.
about.
What do you want us to deep dive into? Recommend a brand. It doesn't have to be a drink or anything like that. Like I said Nickelodeon. That's a network. What other brand would you like us to unpack? We could talk about clothing brands. We can talk about any type of major brands out there, and we can make it make sense for you. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Clothing brands will be great. Technology brands too.
Hmm.
I think we can dive into that a little bit.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
Yeah, that's going to be fun. So I want to talk about Nickelodeon next week, and some of the practical things because think about it, Nickelodeon didn't have all of these resources that we have now. So they
right,
really had to be super creative, which means that the things that they were doing are more practical that small businesses can implement. Uh,
right.
Someone said, great conversation. Wow, thank you. Chef Michelle Collins, thank you for watching. And join us next time. This recording is going to be available soon. So definitely let us know what brands you want us to unpack. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.
See you guys next time. Bye
Bye.
bye.